on how
AI
can we,
is going to ruin the population because they're going to be able to control people so easily with the AI. Because if you've noticed, I try not to do any AI stuff, but if you go into it, just people just saying things, they say woke things. So whoever controls the information controls the people. And so they're just going to keep putting in this crap. And then every kid on the planet's going to go to AI because it's cool. And that generation gets programmed the way they want it. And they didn't even put them under MK Ultra. So, yeah,
well, you see different versions of that. There was a story a few weeks back how they had to take Grok down because it started noticing certain things. It was offending a lot of people, and they had to figure out a way to tone it back. But we're all, by using it, educating it, and but it really is who's in control of that. I think that determines the outcome, and hopefully there'll be a movement to utilize LLMs that are not connected to Meta and even Elon, anyone. They're becoming more prolific in an independent sense.
I think the chances really of us hoping that we're going to get all good conservative people doing all the technology is not going to happen. I mean, this is all part of the New World Order stuff, is the AI. So, and they can, like, okay, let's just say that you're around the worst people of politicians and you're just going for the evening for something, whatever.
Did you know?
Okay. They can take you and do mind control programming to you in a short period of time that night, and then you'll go right back to the party. You will not remember what they've done. That's how advanced it is these days. That's why I would never even want to be around any of those people. Like, oh my gosh, because of what they can do.
So what is your take on whether it's black-pilled optimism? Like, where do you see, because usually our goal is to both learn and teach on the show and to provide either hope or positivity, shedding light on certain things. But Scott and I both feel that we're going towards a world with or without AI that is going to be more positive, and that maybe the ultimate use of AI is that it's if it can read what people are going to do with their money, if they can read if someone's going to do harm to a children, then maybe that's a good component of AI, because it seems like free will hasn't worked out all that well for many in many situations. And then I was going to say for many humans, but then it seems like many of these people are either demonically possessed or reptilian or something along those lines. But where do you see things going? Do you see things going in any kind of positive way, or do you see things getting somewhat dark?
I think both.
Okay.
I think it's going to get a little bit more evil, wicked, and it's going to come out, and it's going to get a little bit more good. And there's going to be a definite divine, not division. It's either you're on this team or you're on this team. And we're already seeing that. We're seeing who's on whose team. And I think that division is going to just get stronger and stronger. What I believe is there's still a lot of good to happen. I believe God is giving us this time to have this knowledge to stop what they're doing to the kids. I honestly think if we do not, he will be doing something to us as a consequence. And because he doesn't appreciate that. And when adults hear about kids getting hurt and does nothing, it's not good. And so there will be a consequence by God. So we need to understand where we stand in our responsibilities, because we're on God's team or we're on Lucifer's team. There is no fence. You know the story about the fence?
Yeah. There's a couple. I would love to hear your story. Bishop Jim O'Connor has a great story about that. Let's hear yours. Your take,
Okay,
please.
it's just really simple. Okay, so all these people, families and everything, they're deciding what team they're going to go on. They're going on to their teams, and a lot of people are going to release their first team. And there's a family left on the fence, and they haven't decided what to do yet, which team they want to be on. So Satan goes over to him and says, so have you decided, or however? And they're like, well, we're still deciding. He says, take all the time you need, because you're not deciding, you're on my team. So you don't decide, it's decided for you. So that's my
Right.
version.
Well, I'll never forget. It was in my ninth or 10th grade teacher's class, and it said not to decide is a decision. And I think that's why it's those little things that are planted, as kids. And I had a pretty normal upbringing, and I had some great teachers, but it's those little things that stick out. And I think that's why, when I really grasped the human trafficking component and got over, hey, maybe I was part of someone being taken out for talking about it. That's why it took us an extra 5-6 months to start Truth Stream, because Scott really wanted to get going a little bit earlier. I've never looked back, because you're exactly right. We hopefully, and this is what I think. I'm just going to let people know why I think Scott and I are shadow banned. We're affiliated with Lewis Herms. but Scott and I are just a couple of dudes that have Airstreams talking about this stuff, and I think that it's somewhat relatable, and that's but I don't think Scott and I would have any would want to have done our show with just Scott and I. We've done some chill shows or what have you, but we're very, very focused on the guest, and you're a shining example of that. So the platform is yours. Do you want to go into your book, or what do you feel is best to talk? We just want to support you in any way we can. So
well, why don't we just talk real briefly about the book, and then the problem with talking about the book is you really need to give a lot of explanation to support it, because so I have 3 books, and each one was based on a lot of teaching from God. First, number 1, I think God wrote most of it. Number 2 is for the professional and the survivor. It can be for anybody, just for information, but it was written to help professionals and survivors understand what's been done to them and how to get free. So there's a lot of tools, methods that anybody can use to help themselves. And most of these you can do yourself. And so so that's what that's loaded with, but it has a lot of information about the inverted Kabbalah, the tree of death, the tree of life. Why is this happening? Why do they believe this? So there's a lot of information. And then what happened is when book 2 came out in 23, this I think was summer, Steve and I my husband just kept getting attacked spiritually to levels that would blow you away, which are in the book. And when they started happening really heavy, God said to start writing down everything that happens to you, because I'm really glad I did, because I would have not remembered it or the details in each of these things. So it led to 20 mothers of darkness coming to see me. And what that means is first of all, do you know what a mother of darkness is?
I think I've heard, but I think it would be good to clarify that.
Okay.
Please.
So basically a survivor are trained with a template of information, but they're not created equal with their abilities and their knowledge that they're given. So basically, I'm falling out of my chair. So hold on. There's always got to do something. Oh my gosh. Okay. So what happens is they needed the Cabal, the Satanic Cabal needed a weapon, a human weapon. And so what I was trying to explain is how they developed it, why they developed it, and what they did to develop it. But basically what it is, it's a woman, and she has, she's the highestly groomed in we'll say the Illuminati, but it's basically Freemason, everybody. There's a male counterpart, And I only worked with one that gave me a lot of information, but I did not work with him fully. And another one just gave me a little information. So there's a male counterpart. I've heard them called father of death or father of darkness. I've heard it both from the women. The man says it's father of death. So anyway, they're groomed at the highest levels to be able to handle the greatest levels of evil. It starts in the womb. They get the core foundation program as well, but the mothers of darkness, they are trained separately. So they're going to be trained with the other mothers of darkness over the world. And so what would all of us need to know? There are 13 mothers of darkness over the world. They come from all different countries. There's a queen of darkness who's over all the mothers of darkness of the world. They like to believe they're over the world. But then it even goes
Before I die, I want everyone with memory loss to see this.
to one other level that goes into what they believe, which is actually in the Bible. And she is a demon god, a fertility god called Queen of Heaven. You can find it in Jeremiah 44. I think it's in some other places about how they worship the Queen of Heaven. So it's kind of a women's group is what I'm trying to say. They do everything very secretly. They've kept this information hidden. If you Google it, you can find Cisco Wheeler said a few things, but nothing to get you free, nothing that you would need to know at a really big level. So anyway, sorry, my chair just keeps rolling. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to stop embarrassing myself for the third time here.
You're fine.
So, with these women, okay, they are very powerful, but they're powerful because they can control, and they've been trained to control a lot of evil. And they are thought of as Lucifer's Eve, and the man is thought of as Lucifer's Adam. So they are controlling over everyone. So they've been trained. There's nobody higher than them. So, okay. So but what they've been trained in, and I made a list because there's like about 50 different things in my book. But some of the things that they can do is they can, like, let's say I'm talking to you, right? And this mother of darkness, she could be trying to manipulate my mind at the same time, which they have tried to do when I worked with them. They call on pagan god and the highest levels of pagan god and goddesses that you can call on for power, and they will help them. They can cause heart attacks. They can into your dreams put something they want. They can do many different ways to kill you. So again, they're the weapon of the cabal. And in the fall of 23, they were activated as a whole to start cleaning up survivors who are not being true and anybody else. This is retarded. Okay, I'm so sorry. I mean, is somebody like behind me pulling the damn chair back? Okay. Anyway, when I'm talking about all this stuff, I swear something crazy happens.
You know the best part about that is you smile and people see your light. So I think it's a good thing in some way.
Okay. All right. Can you please tell whoever's behind there to stop it? Okay. So anyway, they are capable of a lot, but this is the weird thing, okay? Just as they can handle the most evil that a human being could handle, to do with it something, usually the opposite is true in them. So remember, a mother of darkness is an altar. Do you know what that is?
Right. So the darkest, so some of those that are the darkest, without the dark, they would have the potential of having the most light and really helping people. Is that right?
Yes. And well, the weird thing is every single one of them, most of them that came in to see me had a very strong connection to God and believed in the good, because that's their core self. That's their real self. The altar, on the other hand, is 100% loyal to Lucifer. So,
wow. So how do they pick those mothers? How do they? Is there an imprint? Is there DNA? Like how do they find?
They have to be bloodline, and it's passed down generations from generation to generation. And
So they
the reason why
the bloodline of like the Christ bloodline so they can screw with them? Is that kind of what you're saying?
well, that probably would be true, but in this case, it is the bloodline of Satan, really, of Cain or whatever you want to say. It's the bloodline.
So what
of
allows
the
them to-
families?
So if they're the ones that could be shine the brightest, how is it that then they're the part of the Cain bloodline? I guess that I'm confused.
I'm not talking about God's bloodline at the moment because I can't. I think we're all God's bloodline. I mean, because we're his kids. So what they're wanting is the family's bloodline, because what Kathy's explained this several times, but what happens is from one generation to the next generation can pick up more of what the past generations have, good or bad, So she explains it this way. So I'll just say it real quick. Is she says abuse? Like if there's abuse in the family, and the next family, and the next family to have it, they're much more vulnerable to be abused because it's already in the generation DNA bloodline. But in this case, they need these women to have a long line of other mothers of darkness, and because of their DNA, their bloodline, because they are the ones that can handle the most evil downloaded to them. I'm sorry, Joe. Is he right? Are you with him?
If I was having this conversation a few years ago, I've been like, this can't be real. But after nearly 500 interviews with a few that are part of, SRA, it's not bullshit. I wish it was, but it's
I
not.
do too. Because I mean, the sad thing is Steve and I were attacked for he was personally attacked right up until his death. So I feel it wasn't just the women that I saw. It was the mothers of darkness over the world that were attacking us. It was the druids that are very connected to mothers of darkness and the fathers of darkness. Very, very much part of their programming. And I made a list of who's part of their training. I can just tell you real quick who trains them, okay?
Yeah.
So hopefully I remember it all. Okay, they're going to be trained, first of all, by fallen angels, pagan god and goddesses. They're going to be trained by the mother and darkness of the world, the ones that are over everything, so they're high up. They're going to be trained by the druids, Nephilim, Mason military, and I think that's good enough if I missed a couple, but you can get an idea of the training they're getting. And they can do, well, most survivors, honestly, if they were in the survivor army soldier, would outdo a regular soldier because of what they've been trained to do.
And this is all unbeknownst to the victim? I mean, this is all, or is this something that they are aware of when they're going through it?
Oh, no. The survivors are under mind control because they have to be under certain altars that are being trained to be the soldier. So,
right, but
so
the
let's
mother.
Say
You're talking
about the mother of darkness?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just talking about every single survivor is a soldier. And so
Right.
they have soldier altars. And so this mother of darkness altar, she is in charge of all the altars, but she has many as well. So she has 13 backups. But they have more behind that. Because what happens with any survivor is the trauma that's given cracks the brain, right? Breaks the brain to split. And then they can't handle anymore in that altar, so it has to split again.
Wow.
And it has to keep splitting. So a survivor is going to have at least over 1,000 splits of altars.
Jeez.
Now, do they act crazy? No. But let me tell you why. Because it's forbidden. If you're a survivor, you are not to go be telling people anything. And if any of your altars get out of line, meaning if, let's say you have a soldier, you have a sex slave, you maybe even be an assassin, whatever it is, these have to stay separated from each other. These altars cannot know each other. They can't know anything about each other. So a survivor has to stay within the bounds of the programming, because if they find out your programming is crossing over, like an altar from here is over here and shouldn't be, it'll either make you crazy or they'll kill you, one of the two. It's to be very organized. So your brain has to be, it has to stay in alignment with this kind of fracture. Does that make sense? So the brain's really good at keeping you alive, and it knows how to do it, but they're very, very good at programming it as well. And, those that can't make it, they won't make it. Like if they can't split their mind, they're dead.
So quick question. I'm not going to bring this clip up. We played it yesterday, but so some of these, these artists or performers or movie stars or whatever, sometimes it seems like they're doing their thing and then they just go into a spiel of, whatever the agenda that they have to spit out is. How are they programmed? Because it's helping me understand kind of more how the clip I'm talking about is Dave Matthews did a kind of a rant the other day at the concert I was at. It just kind of came out of nowhere and about science is this way and we should trust doctors, and we come down on trans kids and gay kids when it should be about the pharmaceuticals. But what is the program, or what have you seen that they do to people in order to have that come out of them whenever it is that they need it or is convenient to promote their agenda?
Well, okay, let's just say that I'm just making up a story I don't know.
Sure.
For example. So let's say that he was being told at some point, whatever way they wanted to contact him, that this altar is to come out in the evening and say these things. So some point in the evening, the altar just takes over. Now, so what happens with, like, say, a Mother of Darkness is unfortunately the women, because they have a close relationship with God, when they find out that they have a Mother of Darkness altar, it is really hard to accept, because then they have to accept what she's done. But what I try to get everybody to understand about altars, and God has told me this many, many times. Okay, if you're under mind control and your mind has been split to create a way to do what they're saying, you're doing their will. It's not your will. And so God forgives everything that's not your will. And that if you're under an altar and you do something terrible, which you will, you are for you can't, I still think you need to say you're sorry and repent, but you will be forgiven because it wasn't your free will. And so hopefully survivors can understand that, as well as everyone else, because that's what mind control is. They can make you do anything against your morals and your free will, and they do. So a big part of a survivor even getting healed is they got to start forgiving themselves, and it's really hard because they've made him go so far over the line of their own morals. So
right. So does it seem like some of these people are on their natural road to, to making it somewhat big, and then they have to get taken in, they sign these contracts, but then also they're put under some kind of mind control as part of the deal, and they may not necessarily know when this stuff comes up. It's just part of what they have to do. Is that makes sense?
I think that's fair. Yeah. I mean, when I look at all this stuff and everybody I've witnessed is when we would, with the survivors, and we would do these sessions, we'd work on it, and God would always show up helping them come out of the deepest, darkest hell. And what is kind of shocking to me is all the effort they have made a person to believe in Lucifer, and they still don't. Like, very few people that are survivors will go to Satan. So a real Mother of Darkness has to go to Satan with their free will. And do you know that 90% of the I'm just guessing, but 90% of the Mothers of Darkness do not go to Satan, even after all they've done to him. So that tells me Satan isn't powerful as he likes to think, and neither is little fallen angels. So all the training they do against Christ, Jesus, I've had, and all the survivors, they'll train you at every age to go against Jesus. Well, guess what? We still go to Jesus. And they train you that you're supposed to love Satan and be on his team, and he gives you everything. And at the end of the day, most people still will not even choose him with their own free will. So he's not winning the battle in that way. I mean, he does destroy lives, but guess what? If they still choose Christ, they're going to be on his team on the other side too. So, I know
Right.
this life
Well,
can suck, but
Well, don't they even have people dress up as Christ and then false promises and what have you in order to? Can you talk a little bit about that?
there's so basically what the Lord showed me is if you go to the core foundation and remove core events, which mean core ages, that they do huge programming, because you could never go to all the programming somebody has. It would be literally impossible. You could never do it, or all the altars. You have to go to the main core foundation. So he started showing me the ages, and this is the biggest one against Christ. Is it starts at 13 months old, and what they do, it's really evil. Okay, a 13-month-old child knows Jesus no matter what. So what they do is they say, do you want to go to Jesus? And they say certain things like that. So they let Jesus, because they know Jesus will be there for them if they ask, right? Jesus is there, comforts them, loves them. It's the first time they've ever felt whole. And they actually do become whole. Because see, they haven't been whole even in the womb. Their mind's already been split. So at 13 months old, they're saying all these things. They let Jesus love the child and all this. And then soon right after, they do a 3-way rape to split their mind 3 ways and say, look what they did. Say, Jesus didn't come protect you. Jesus isn't on your side. We're the only family you have. See, Jesus didn't even protect you from this. And that starts the road of all this programming against Jesus. And they teach
So
all
they have someone dress up as Jesus that takes advantage of the child. Is that what you're saying?
They do many times. That's Jesus, supposed to be Jesus. That's not just one time. That's many times throughout all your ages. And but Jesus isn't real though, you guys. That what I mean is being sarcastic, is because that's what they keep saying. He's not real, but why do they program at every age about Jesus? So
Right.
Well, Laura, are you familiar with the John Wick movies?
I don't I don't think
Keanu
I
Reeves,
watched
no,
those.
they're great. I mean, they're action films. I really like them, but I think there's a tremendous amount of disclosure. And I was just rewatching the latest installment, which is a spinoff. It's called The Ballerina, and this it involves Switzerland. I mean, this is there's an underground current, and all the truly powerful people are operating on a different set of rules. They have their own currency. They have their own everything.
I believe
This is the story these movies are trying to tell. And at one of the climaxes of the Ballerina, the Klaus Schwab type, the evil dark guy, says, she's trying to figure out her childhood. She doesn't remember a lot of the details or the purpose, plenty of trauma. I mean, this sounds MK Ultra to me. And he says, killers are not made, they're chosen. And I thought that was kind of interesting because, boy, doesn't that feel like an MK Ultra disclosure?
I mean, okay, so basically what happens when a baby is in the womb, the fallen angel will tell the cult who they are or what they remember of them, because they've known them before, so they know who they are. And so that's how Satan knows that, oh, you're this person. I know what you can do. So they try to do they'll put you in positions that can be manipulated but fit closer to your personality, I guess. And what they think you're capable of doing. So like if God would use this for good, that gift that you have, then Satan's gonna steal that gift and make you use it for evil. And they know the fallen angels, you have to understand, fallen angels are a very big part of programming. They tell the cult, how do you think we have this AI, all this technology? Fallen angels, the Nephilim, they're all teaching them. I could go on a very big list about the Nephilim, just to let you know, because the Nephilims are very big involved in the programming of Survivor. So